Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at how Russia's lifeline to Crimea is under extreme pressure after a massive attack that has shaken confidence across the region. This is not just about a single strike. It's about logistics, geography, morale and long-term strategy. Crimea has always depended on a narrow set of routes to stay connected with mainland Russia. Roads, railways, ports and bridges together form a fragile network. When any one of these links is disrupted, the effects ripple far beyond the immediate damage. For Moscow, Crimea is more than territory. It is symbolic, strategic and political. Keeping it supplied and secure has been a priority since the day it was taken. That priority becomes a problem when supply lines are stretched and exposed. The recent attack focused attention on the routes that keep Crimea functioning. These routes move fuel, food, construction materials, civilian goods and military supplies. Without them, daily life and military operations both slow down. Even limited damage can cause outsized consequences. Traffic bottlenecks grow quickly, repair crews take time to arrive, inspections and security checks increase delays. All of this adds pressure to an already stressed system. One of the key weaknesses is geography. Crimea is connected by narrow land corridors and a limited number of crossings. This makes redundancy difficult. If one route goes down, alternatives are few and often slower. The sea routes offer another option, but they come with risks. Ports can be targeted, blockaded or disrupted. Bad weather also limits capacity. Shipping alone cannot fully replace land-based logistics. Air transport is fast but limited. It cannot move heavy equipment or large volumes efficiently. Airfields themselves are vulnerable and expensive to operate under constant threat. This means the land routes carry the real burden. When they are attacked, the entire logistical balance shifts. Even temporary disruption sends a powerful message. The psychological impact is just as important as the physical damage. Residents notice shortages faster than officials admit. Delays become visible. Rumors spread quickly, especially online. For civilians in Crimea, uncertainty grows. People worry about access to essentials and future stability. Some begin to consider leaving, at least temporarily. Businesses feel the pressure as well. Supply delays increase costs. Tourism, already affected by security concerns, becomes even weaker. Investors hesitate. From a military perspective, logistics are the backbone of operations. Troops need steady resupply to remain effective. Equipment needs maintenance and replacement. Disruptions complicate planning. Commanders must adjust schedules and priorities. Resources that could support operations are diverted to repairs and protection. This reduces flexibility on the ground. Protecting supply routes requires manpower and technology. Surveillance, patrols, and defensive systems are costly. They also stretch forces thinner across a wide area. Every additional guard post or checkpoint is a sign of strain. It shows that the route is no longer assumed safe. That alone changes behavior and expectations. The attack also sends a signal beyond Crimea. It shows that critical infrastructure can be reached. That signal is heard by allies, rivals, and neutral observers alike. For Ukraine, targeting logistics is a strategic choice. It avoids direct confrontation while applying sustained pressure. The goal is to make holding territory more expensive and complicated. Rather than focusing only on frontline clashes, this approach targets depth. It affects decision-making far from the battlefield. It turns geography into a weapon. This kind of pressure builds over time. One strike rarely decides anything. Repeated disruptions, however, slowly change the balance. Repairing infrastructure is not instant. Materials must be sourced. Skilled workers must be protected. Each repair window creates another moment of vulnerability. Weather and seasonal factors add another layer. Winter conditions, for example, complicate construction and transport. Summer tourism increases demand on the same routes. Information control becomes harder under these conditions. Official statements may emphasize resilience, but lived experience tells another story. Satellite images, social media posts, and traffic data make it difficult to hide disruption. Even small incidents are magnified in the public eye. This visibility affects morale. Confidence in long-term control weakens when people see repeated problems. Trust in assurances declines. Internationally, the situation shapes perceptions of strength and weakness. Secure logistics suggest stability. Vulnerable supply lines suggest risk. Allies watch closely. Support decisions often depend on assessments of sustainability. If holding territory looks costly, political calculations shift. Economic factors also play a role. Maintaining supply routes under threat drains resources. Funds spent on protection and repair are funds not spent elsewhere. Sanctions and economic pressure amplify this effect. Limited access to materials and technology slows recovery. Costs rise even higher. The lifeline to Crimea is therefore not just a road or a bridge. It is a system under constant test. Every disruption adds weight to that test. Over time, decision makers face harder choices. Do they invest even more to secure the routes? Do they accept reduced capacity, or do they rethink broader strategy? None of these choices are easy. Each carries political and military consequences. Delaying decisions only increases uncertainty. For people on the ground, daily life continues under a cloud of unpredictability. Simple tasks take longer, plans change suddenly, adaptation becomes normal, stockpiling increases, travel patterns shift. These are quiet signs of stress within a society. Media narratives try to frame events in favorable terms. But repetition undermines reassurance. When problems recur, explanations lose impact. The attack also highlights the importance of resilience. Infrastructure designed for peacetime struggles under wartime conditions. Redundancy matters more than ever. Building new routes is slow and visible. It invites attention. Protecting existing ones becomes the immediate priority. Technology offers some help. Drones, sensors, and monitoring systems improve awareness, but technology cannot eliminate risk entirely. Every defensive measure has a cost. Every added layer slows movement. Efficiency and security pull in opposite directions. This tension defines the current situation. Speed versus safety, openness versus control. Each choice affects outcomes. As pressure continues, the margin for error shrinks. Minor incidents become major disruptions. Small delays cascade. The broader conflict context matters as well. Developments elsewhere influence resource allocation. Priorities shift with events on different fronts. This makes the lifeline to Crimea part of a much larger picture. It is connected to decisions made far beyond the peninsula. History shows that logistics often decide conflicts more than battles do. Armies march on supplies. Societies endure through access. When access becomes uncertain, power erodes quietly. Not in dramatic moments, but through accumulation. That is why this situation matters so much. It is not about one attack. It is about sustained pressure on a critical system. The future depends on responses. Rapid adaptation could stabilize the situation. Failure to adapt could deepen problems. Observers will watch repair timelines closely. Delays speak louder than statements. Efficiency builds confidence. At the same time, risks remain. Each repair restores function but also resets the cycle. The route becomes usable, then vulnerable again. This creates a constant state of alert. Living with that alert is exhausting for systems and people alike. In the end, the crumbling of a lifeline is rarely sudden. It is gradual. Each crack widens under stress. Whether this lifeline can be reinforced or continues to weaken will shape the months ahead. The answer will influence strategy, politics, and everyday life. For now, the message is clear. Control depends on connectivity, and connectivity is under relentless challenge. As events continue to unfold, the focus will remain on these critical routes. They tell the real story beneath the headlines. That's where pressure is applied. That's where outcomes are shaped. And that's why this moment matters more than it might first appear.